Good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew Botieri, and again, welcome to Talk of the Town. Today is May 6th. This is show number 374. And again, I'll be guest host filling in for the illustrious Karen Bukes, who is not here today, but I know she's watching, and I know that she'll make sure that we have a very good show today. We've got some great guests today, but before I get into that, I want to remind you all, please don't forget to vote this Saturday, May 9th, at your particular precinct and district for selectmen. Also, the polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m., so it's your right and your citizens' right to get out there and vote. If you don't vote, then don't complain, as I hear many people around town complaining, but yet they don't vote. So it is your God-given right to get out there and vote, so we'll see you at the polls. Okay, let's also welcome some of our great underwriters, Stowell's Cafe in Manomet, a great supporter of Talk of the Town. Also, Brewster PC Solutions with Wrestling Brewster. Hey, Wrestling, I know you're out there watching today. Attorneys Trifoletti and Coster on Long Pond Road, Stephen and Alan. Great guys, and also they do a great job. And also our other underwriters, David and Kevin Gallerani, owners of Cape Auto Body and Service, locations in Samoset and Sandwich Streets right here in America's hometown of Plymouth. Again, I just wanted to welcome our guests today. To my immediate right, we have Natalia Norman, who is with ARC of Plymouth, and then also Leanne Barry, also with the ARC. But before I actually get into talking to them, we wanted to run a quick 60-second video about a event and program as a fundraiser that ARC has coming up very soon. So, Maestro, if you would roll the tape, please.
The ARC of Greater Plymouth's mission is to provide services and supports to children and adults with intellectual, developmental, and other disabilities. We also strive to strengthen families by providing essential services so that they can focus on raising their child and offering them the building blocks for success. In order to support our work, we have teamed with the Plymouth Philharmonic to produce a fundraising musical event. Join us on Sunday, May 17th at Memorial Hall for a concert fundraiser with the Plymouth Philharmonic, Maestro Stephen Karadionis, and America's Got Talent finalist, the Sons of Serendip. For a sneak peek of the Sons of Serendip, visit their website. For ticket information, visit the ARC website. And for sponsorship opportunities or further information, please contact me directly. Thank you for helping us further our mission and support local family.
Great. That's a nice piece, and that's Susan O'Neill, who actually I had met at a Lions Club event back a few months ago, and was very taken by their mission and what they do to help the adults of the Plymouth area with development disabilities. And I just thought it was important to bring their story here to Talk of the Town. A little bit about ARC of Greater Plymouth. It was established in 1966 by a group of concerned parents of children with development disabilities. It has since grown to serving over 800 individuals and their families in the Greater Plymouth area, serving Plymouth, Plimpton, Carver, Kingston, Duxbury, Marshfield, Hanover, and Hanson, Halifax, and Pembroke. Their mission statement, the ARC of Greater Plymouth, is dedicated to providing services and supports of advocacy to individuals with intellectual and other development disabilities. The ARC of Greater Plymouth is committed to changing attitudes, which is important, perceptions, and legislation so that individuals will have the opportunity to choose and realize their goals, where and how they learn, live, and play. ARC of Plymouth is a worthy and needed organization. They definitely do the work of the angels and the saints. So what I would like to first do is, again, to my immediate right is Natalia Norman. She's 23 years old and lives in Barnstable, so you're OTB, over the bridge. She's the Assistant Family Support Coordinator at the ARC and also facilitator of the Self-Advocacy Transition Group. She also helps with various social recreational activities that the ARC puts on. So, Natalia, let me ask you, Family Support Coordinator, what actually is that?
So I do a myriad of things at the ARC. So one of them is doing case management, so working with families and helping them to get the different supports that they need, whether it be finding out a different nutritionist that, their child may need if they have food issues, or maybe contacting the school, and doing things like that. And then I also, again, do a lot with advocacy and the social rec activities that we put on.
Okay, and how long have you been working for ARC?
About a year. I actually started as an intern last winter for my last semester of college when I was at Bridgewater State University. And then after I graduated, they offered me a job there.
Excellent. What drew you to the ARC? Is even as an intern, it's kind of interesting that that to really be drawn to something where again you're giving of yourself to help others. What was that? What drew you there?
Well, on a personal level, I have two brothers with autism.
Okay.
And one of my younger brothers with autism actually was a part of the ARC in terms of the social rec activities that he did. He did the soccer program. So as a senior in college, when I was looking for different places to intern, and one of the suggested places was the ARC of Greater Plymouth, and I had heard of it before because Noah had gone there, and so I knew different people that had worked there, so that's how I kind of got that connection.
Wow, that's great. That's great. I think one of the things that this young lady and again the youth of our society is really that ability to give back, to volunteer their time. Many people, both in my age group, the baby boomers, as well as younger people, sometimes tend to be a little caught up in their own life. So it's great that you've been able to find time to do that. But then be able to turn that into a full-time job out of college. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, next we have Leanne Barry, who is serviced by ARC. Leanne is 27 years old and lives in Plymouth, Mass. And she has been part of ARC for 5 years. She's very involved with the advocacy and has been awarded the Nancy Maynard Leadership Award and the United Way Courage Award for her role in self-advocacy. I mean, that's pretty impressive. She is currently in school to get her GED and enjoys playing sports and attending various activities hosted by ARC. What kind of sports do you like to play, Leanne?
I like to play basketball, soccer, and I'm doing track right now.
Awesome. That is. What position in softball?
Soccer, I play guard.
Yeah.
And then basketball, I play whatever they need.
Oh, basketball. Okay. So what do you like better out of all those?
Soccer.
Soccer. All right, that's great. That's great. Now tell me a little bit about the Nancy Maynard Leadership Award.
I got that awarded to me last October by my boss for doing so much of leadership at the State House and with Mass Advocates Standing Strong.
Now I know at some of the things that you've done on leadership, and I see his name here, and he's also a very, very good friend of mine and one of my favorite people, but Vinny DiMacedo.
Yes.
I mean, talk about a man that has, given his life to public service, but also helping others. How have you been involved with Vinny?
Vinny came to the ARC a couple weeks ago, and we talked with different issues that we have, and Vinny is a really good supporter of the ARC.
Yeah. He is. Great
guy.
That's a great guy to have on your side, especially now that he's Senate president as well, or senator, not Senate president, Senate. Sorry, Vin. We'll get you there in a couple more years. So, Leanne, what do you currently do for work at ARC?
I work at Mass Advocates Standing Strong, and once in a great while, I will fill in for the receptionist.
Okay. And what might some of your daily activities be?
I go to classes. We have 3 different classes, and it varies day to day. We're mostly trying to get everybody out there and working, how to get jobs, how to benefit from them.
Yeah. What's your what you do on a day-to-day basis? What's your favorite thing to
Lunchtime.
do? Lunchtime. I buy that one too. Lunchtime's always the best part. And what's your favorite thing to have at lunch?
It varies.
It varies? Okay. Mass Advocacy Standing Strong. Talk a little bit about that. What actually is that?
It's a self-advocacy group. It's nonprofit. I do 2 different trainings. I do Explore, Prepare, and Act, and Action Awareness. Both of them, I'm a trainer.
Okay, and give me a little bit about, so for instance, for the Explore, Prepare, Act, what's that involve?
We go around to different programs with people with disabilities, and we teach them how to get jobs, like how to go out there, look for them, how to do a resume, how to go on an interview, pretty much a lot.
That's great. I mean, it's I run businesses and I do a lot of interviewing with people, and it's amazing sometimes when people actually come how unprepared
Yep.
that they are for an interview. And so it's great that you're, giving a helping hand to these individuals. Some of the people that have gotten jobs through you, where might they be working?
One of them I met that took the training last year that I wasn't part of, he works with the Patriots. He does security with the Patriots.
How can I get that job?
That's what I said.
I want that job. That's excellent.
Yes.
That's excellent. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. And how did you, Leanne, get involved in this advocacy and get introduced into ARC as well?
My dad had some clients at the ARC, so when I turned 22, he looked into the ARC and they accepted me. And how we started self-advocacy is we had an intern named Tori come to talk to Melissa Kenny about starting a self-advocacy group. So now here we are doing self-advocacy.
And how long has the self-advocacy been going on?
I think about two a year.
Okay.
I don't really remember.
Okay, no, that's fine. Do you know roughly how many people have been put into positions through the advocacy group?
What do you mean?
Like how many people have actually gotten jobs and?
Not many.
Okay.
We're still working on that.
Okay.
So hopefully all of us will be employed someday.
Good. And is there a deterrent to that, or people just aren't hiring? What seems to be?
We have a job developer named Casey Bischoff, and she goes out to businesses hopefully to hire. But with all the budget cuts people are getting now, it's kind of hard for them to hire us. And a lot of them don't know about the ARC and how we're important to the community about having disabilities.
Well, and I think maybe, again, on tonight being here, hopefully this will be a great way to bring some awareness. As I was telling Peter, who's off camera, that I published the New England Apartment Finder magazine. It's an orange book that we distribute all throughout Mass, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire. And as part of our mailing of our books to major employers, as well as mailing them out to our apartment communities around the state, we actually used the ARC up in Middlesex County, and they would do our book fulfillment for us.
Awesome.
But what happened was there was budget cuts, and they had to reposition them. And even though I was talking to the guy up there who runs that, and we had a very long discussion that it's really sad because here we were being able to provide at least some work for them at their facility, and yet the state wasn't allowing it. And it was really sad. I mean, we've been using them for 7 years. So it's kind of hard to end that relationship. It would have been nice to keep that going.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
Very
It is.
unfortunate.
So I also see that there's, again, Leanne, during the advocacy meetings, we've got some current issues. Max Colson.
Yep.
What's that?
Max-
Or who is that?
Max Carlson is a client of Family Support. He has autism, and he got kicked out of the theater. He went to see the Muppets, and he was making loud noises, and it's very overstimulating for him. So people were telling his mom that he needed to leave. So they ended up leaving. It was very disappointing to his mom. So his mom wrote a letter. And Tori read the letter that Max's mom wrote, and we wrote a letter to Max supporting him. And then a couple of weeks later, they offered the Plymouth movie theater did a night for Max's friends to go see the Muppets.
How wonderful.
Yes.
Did you guys get to attend
I
that?
didn't get to go,
No?
unfortunately.
Wow, that's pretty spectacular.
She actually wrote a book. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Dancing with Max.
His mother?
Yes.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, she lives in Duxbury here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so during the advocacy group, they were all kind of able to talk about, how it would make them feel if they were in a movie theater and they were asked to leave. And so they kind of just wrote a letter being able to talk about how it made them feel and just kind of giving their support. And that's kind of what the advocacy groups are able to do. They're able to kind of talk about the different issues that are currently going on that relate specifically to them. So
Wow,
it's really great.
that's fantastic. And again, it shows you that, in what we call grassroots, whether it's grassroots politics or grassroots advocacy, when you get the people standing up and saying, hey, we need to change this, and there's enough people to change it, things do get changed, and that's just wonderful. That's wonderful. And it's too bad that, whether it's, autism, whether it's disabilities, that there is a stigma that people have. their own ignorance, if I can say that because I'm sitting here, but their own ignorance and their short-sightedness, that we're all not perfect. Even everybody, we all have faults, we all have flaws, and it's when we're in a community that accepts us for who we are that we can continue to grow and build upon that community. So that's fantastic. Let's see. We have also other advocacy activities outside the office. We talked about Mr. Vinny. And then what about the local legislators and senators? I guess that's also the same type of thing where you guys do get to go up to the State House?
Yeah. We go to the State House once a month. It's called Legislative Education Day, where Mass Advocate Standing Strong hosts it. So right now, last month, we were fighting for the DPPC budget.
Okay.
It's
the Disabled Persons Protection Committee.
Which I heard now that you've had some budget cuts.
Yes. They're trying to cut the budget again. Last year, we got 32 staff, up to 32. Now they want to cut it down again to 28. And the abuse rate's going up, and they need the staff because they're getting more and more reports every day.
Gotcha.
So they're trying, with all the budget cuts happening this year, they're trying to cut the DPPC again. Okay,
and what is ARC doing? Is it obviously you're one of many ARCs? Do you guys get together as a conglomerate of ARCs to try to get things changed?
Yeah, so again, what she said, we go once a month, and it's called Legislative Education Day. So it's not just us going, it's a bunch of various other organizations that, deal with people with disabilities coming up too, and we basically just go to each different senator and legislator and just kind of give them information about, what the budget cut is and why it shouldn't be cut, and again saying that as the amount of abuse is increasing, the number of staff should not be decreasing, and then they get to kind of talk about their personal opinion about it. So it's a really great way for them to be able to advocate because, a majority of them are 18 and older, and so they all vote and they all pay taxes and everything like that. So they have just as much as a right as any of us to be able to advocate for the rules and laws and bills that directly affect them. Well, it's interesting because once you become voting age, politicians actually listen to you.
Very good person like that.
Yeah.
What has been the reception of your monthly visits to the State House?
We also got the Real Lives Bill passed. It's where you can be part of it, where you can pick your job, your friends, and where you live. Mass Advocates was president for about 5 years. So we got a call that it got passed last October.
Wonderful.
So that was after continually going each month saying, we really want this bill passed. This bill is important to us. So kind of going off, you were saying, how do they receive us? Well, now they kind of expect us at this point. Like, oh, hey, nice to see you. Now we recognize people when we go because we're a constant face. And I think that's the key to getting a lot of times these bills passed is there's a face now to, the requests that we're asking. And so because we go each month and it's, again, years are going by and we're continually advocating and advocating and advocating when, they went to go and pass it, it was almost unanimous.
Well, and I think the thing about, going every month for, year after year after year, it's also what's important is you're building those relationships. And, I'm in sales and, no one's going to buy from you unless there's a relationship. Right. And, some of my best sales, some of my people's best sales have come after a year of, every month or twice a month going in to see that client. They keep saying no, but there's that one time where you get in there and they said, yeah, let's, I know who you are now, I trust you, I've got a relationship with you. And so I think that's a great strategy that you guys are using because the, legislature does change. And so to, make sure that even when you're out there looking at candidates and maybe even, working on a candidate's campaign or something and to make sure that your views, the things that you guys are looking for ARC get addressed. But I think that's great, and keep at it. Keep at it. Yeah, I just did a tour of the State House about a month ago. Never been in there, and pretty impressive place.
Isn't it? Yeah. And the fact is, we probably could just send an email just saying, "Hi, we'd really like this passed," but it doesn't have the same amount of power and effect than looking them right in the eye and saying, "This is wrong. We want this changed."
Yep.
And
who can say no to you?
Thank you.
And again, that's great. So let me see. Is there anything we showed that video earlier, but are there any other things that ARC does outside of what you do, or anything else that you'd like listeners to or viewers, because we're actually on TV?
We do a dance once a month at the Moose Lodge, adult dances.
Okay.
We do an acting class twice a year.
Okay.
We have one coming up in June.
Are you in that?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Okay.
And we do photography in the summer.
Excellent.
So we
Excellent.
go through different towns and we do a photography, and then in July or August, I think, we have our art show where it's open to the public.
Wonderful. And how do you guys get that message out of all those different events?
We send out brochures with all of our information, and everything is also on our website. You can go on our website if there's any different programs that you are interested in. They're all listed
And what
there.
is your website?
thearcofgreaterplymouth.com.
Make note of that. Our number here is 508-830-3971 if anybody would like to call in and talk to either one of our young ladies here about ARC. Again, 508-830-3971. So if you're sitting there and are interested in getting some more information, or maybe have even a success story of maybe somebody you know that has gone through the ARC program and it was successful for them, please call in. We'd love to hear from you. And so you've also got the fundraiser that we just showed the little video of. That's coming up on May 17th. And again, that's with the Philharmonic, the Plymouth Philharmonic.
Yeah.
Do you know it's like the oldest Philharmonic in the country?
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I met Stephen, the conductor, at the Artie Awards that we did last Friday for recognizing people in the arts here in the Plymouth area at the Spire Center, the new Spire Center.
That's where we have our acting classes.
Oh, no way. Excellent.
Yeah.
Is Bob Hollis involved in that?
No, Garrett Olson and Casey Seaman.
Okay.
Casey Bischoff.
Okay.
I'm making a different Casey.
That's okay. That's okay. Beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
facility. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I know we've got probably about a couple minutes left, so would you like to say anything to the people, Miss Natalia?
You definitely should come to our fundraiser. I think it's going to be a really great time. We did the fundraiser with the Plymouth Philharmonic last year with Ronan Tynan, and it was amazing.
Oh, he's excellent.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
he was incredible.
Yeah.
And the Phil did an amazing job as always. So I definitely would encourage anybody who's interested to come out. It's a really great time, and obviously it supports a really great cause that's near and dear to all of us.
Okay, and who do they call or get in touch with for that?
Well, if you go on the ARC's website, there's a link there that you can click on to order tickets, or you can also go on the Phil's website
They have
there.
a link there as well.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, and Leanne, for you as well, anything that you'd like to talk to the people about, or just...
Awesome, good.
You're so quiet. You were quite. You got a lot of information out there, though.
Yep.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to be actually switching over to my next guest in about another minute, but we're going to actually show a video, a 5-minute video of the ARC of Plymouth that goes into a little bit more detail, and I think you'll really enjoy this. But again, Natalia Norman, I want to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Leanne Barry, I want to thank you as well. You guys did a great job. There's about 3 million people watching you right now, so I just wanted you to know that. All right, well, thank you, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes with Michelle Pecoraro, the Executive Director of the Plymouth 2020. So, Ken, if you would roll our video, we'll get ready to transition.
Investing in the lives of families with developmental disabilities is an investment in our local community. The Massachusetts Department of Developmental Services serves the community in so many ways. Every day, specialty services and supports are provided for almost 29,000 adults and children. Some 20,000 Massachusetts citizens with an intellectual or developmental disability are cared for by their family at home. They are your family, your neighbors, your friends. Funding is threatened even as the need is growing. Beginning in 2015, DDS will also begin serving adults with autism. All of these specialized services face the prospect of budget cuts each year. The family supports are especially vulnerable. Family support funding is only 3.5% of the Department of Developmental Services budget. Yet these funds provide critical support for families. Without funding, many families are forced to stop working in order to stay home with their loved one. Their ability and the ability of their family member with developmental disabilities to participate and interact with the community is threatened.
These families deserve the chance of a fulfilling life that includes the basic things we all value: employment, home, social interaction with peers, neighbors, and the community. Funding of residential programs gives adults with developmental disabilities an engaging, caring, and safe place to call home.
Well, the support by the people that I deal with are very, very wonderful, because I've gotten a chance to live on my own.
Funding of work programs allows adults with developmental disabilities to flourish and know the pride of earning a paycheck.
I am currently working in Boston, and I'm doing a fellowship about handicapped playgrounds and building awareness for that. Throughout my work and throughout my understanding of working through the ARC and with the ARC, I am able to be a part of society, and I'm able to make a change for somebody.
Funding of family support services helps relieve the stress of caregiving by focusing on the needs of the family and recognizing that what benefits the whole family benefits the person with a disability. It also reduces reliance on more expensive out-of-home living options.
As a parent of a young adult who's 25 years old with cerebral palsy, also has dystonia and a seizure disorder, the funding that we've been able to obtain through the ARC and funded through DDS, different agencies that have stepped up to help us along the way, have really made such a big difference in our life as far as respite, money to take him out to different places that we might not be able to afford. So it has been invaluable to my family, and it has really given us a lot of our life back that we were missing out on.
Together, work, residential, and family support programs allow people with disabilities and their families the opportunity to become active participants in the communities where they live, work, and play.
Funding counts. Can we count on you to help ensure adequate funding of programs for individuals with developmental disabilities and their families? Your support of these programs is a meaningful investment that enriches the lives of so many, including yours.
And welcome back to Talk of the Town. Again, I'm guest host Andrew Botieri, and I am here for our second section of this evening. And I am very pleased and honored to be able to introduce our next guest, who is a dear friend of mine. She is also my birthday mate. We always take December 19th. We always take each other out for our birthdays. And I also refer to her as my sister from another mister. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Michelle Pecoraro.
Hello, dear. How are you,
Good.
Andrew?
Michelle is the executive director of the Plymouth 2020. Obviously, in less than 5 years, we're going to be celebrating the 400th anniversary of the founding of Plymouth, the landing of our forefathers, and really the first written part of a democracy that has lasted for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And obviously, here in America's hometown, we're very proud of that fact. Not only our past history, but also our future history as Michelle and her team works towards the 400th anniversary of Plymouth. So Michelle, executive director, gosh, I've known you through a couple different career changes over your life. And when you did, tell me that, this opportunity came up and you were going to interview for it, I think my words were something, wow, this job was made for you.
I really feel blessed. This is I'm a lucky person to have come around in my career to this point. I worked in Plymouth before. I went to the Cape for 7 years. I worked down there at the Chamber of Commerce. And when this came up, and I was able to come back and really take all of my experience, not just in Plymouth, but on the Cape, and my former educational background, and kind of roll it all up into this, that was a great moment. So
that's excellent. That's excellent. And how are things going? I did get an email today that my license plate is on its way.
That's right.
Yes.
Your license plate is on its way within the next 6 months. But yes, we delivered those. Actually, I was not with them because I was at a conference, but Cheryl Soares, who diligently worked for 2.5 years to get this project done, and Ed Santos delivered those to the registry last Tuesday.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That's wonderful. And Ed also won a Heritage Award last Friday at the Arties that we did. And Ed is just, as I was talking to him afterwards, you talk about an individual who has given pretty much his whole life towards this town and the monies he's helped raise for so many different things. Right. The bandstand, or the stage that we have at the waterfront, where we do Project Arts does their free Wednesday night music. That's there because of Ed. So it is fantastic. And so if you did purchase one of those license plates and you've been saying to yourself, where the hell are they? We got to, what, 1551 or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was 1544 or
1544. Yeah. So your license plate will be on its way. I did receive an email, so I can't wait. And I got a good number. Let's just put it that way.
You did. You got a great number.
Well, only one of us could have it because it was 12/19, which is our birthday. So tell me a little bit about what the mission is of the Plymouth 2020.
Well, our goals for the year 2020 are really to have a commemoration that is historically accurate and culturally inclusive. So that includes the culture of the Wampanoag, but it also includes a further story of the immigration story of Plymouth and the region, and of course the state of Massachusetts, which is reflected in the rest of the country. And that's really one of the most important themes to me. And the second important theme to me is the theme of Thanksgiving. And that's Thanksgiving with a small t. So giving back, being grateful, being philanthropic, teaching philanthropy, because I think that's something that we are missing in our society right now, is children aren't learning why it's important to preserve history, why it's important to be philanthropic and help out with others. So I think that, seeing the Arc of Greater Plymouth here earlier, that embodies exactly the kind of thing that we want to promote. But there's also, of course, the themes of innovation, self-governance, religious freedom that we all talk about and know about from the sailing of Mayflower and the Pilgrim landing. And there's also there's a story that we don't always talk about in full depth, and that's the story of the Wampanoag people and the further story, because what happened for about 50 years here was a peaceful kind of relationship, but we know that didn't last, and we know that there was a lot of tragic incidences that happened in our country after that, and we don't want to ignore that. Yeah. We want to honor the Native people, and we want to make sure that their story is told by them and not by someone else.
Great. And I obviously, as being part of Project Arts, I sit on the cultural committee, and I know that we had that one Saturday. You actually had the group from Plymouth, England.
Yes,
over
we had
here.
Plymouth, England here.
And talk a little bit about that, just how exciting it is to have our sister city here, and also some of the cross and joint ventures that are going to be happening over the next couple of years.
Right. So Plymouth, England is very excited. In fact, that whole region of Plymouth, where the Pilgrims, originated from, are working together to do what they call Mayflower 400, the departure of Mayflower from England. And they are really giving us a little run for our money in a way. I mean, I feel a little bit competitive at times, but we are, me. But we're working really closely together on some transatlantic itineraries, so people can visit there, go to the places where the Pilgrims lived and walked, and then come here and visit the places where they landed and the people who they met when they got here. And so we're working very closely with them. The British government has already actually given them £5 million for that region to help with their infrastructure and preparations for the 400th anniversary of the departure of Mayflower.
Wow. That's pretty exciting. Is there actually going to be a replica crossing? Or?
Well, in Harwich, what they call Harwich, we would call it Harwich, England, they are building a Mayflower 3 to be sailed along the coast of England, supposedly. I don't think it will come over here. But the Mayflower 3 is being built over there, and they have started it, and they are still raising money. It takes a lot. But so that's happening over there, and we're working on Mayflower 2 here, which needs a lot of work, but is an icon and must be preserved. And so Plymouth, as you know, Plymouth Plantation owns Mayflower 2, and so they've gotten some help from the state. There's going to be more fundraising that needs to be done, but that is something, again, that we are responsible for. We need to preserve that. That's important.
As you're sitting there talking, because I know that one of the people that was given an award last Friday at the Arties was the plantation in the film, and I forget the name of it.
Plymouth Cinema.
Plymouth Cinema. And how cool would it be to actually get from our friends across the pond to get a video of Plymouth 3 being built, and then actually showing that at the Plymouth Cinema?
Absolutely.
I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, there's so many great collaborations like that we hope to see happen, and that session that you came to was specifically to have those cultural discussions about, sharing exhibits, for example, having art exhibits come here from there and vice versa, and come over to the Arts Center, having performances come over to the Spire Center, and having some of our performers go over there. This summer, Plymouth Public Schools has an auditioned choir of 30 students who are going to be going over to sing with a choir of students in Plymouth, England in July. So
that's awesome.
They're already, it's already starting, and that's really exciting to have that starting this far out.
Well, you say this far out, but 5 years will go like that.
Yeah, every day is like a sprint for us. But people say, "Oh, you're already planning that." We had our 250th, last year, and I'm saying, no, you're not getting the scope of this. This is such a significant point in history. We here live and work in the oldest town in the United States, the oldest still existing town. English settled town in the United States. I have to be careful because there are a couple of Spanish settlements that are older than us.
This is true.
But none of them started the progression of significant historic moments in time that this did.
And I think also another really significant that really made our country was, the Mayflower Compact. I mean,
absolutely.
A lot of those, Spanish settlements were really just an outpost, if you will. There was no formal government, if you will. There was no democracy, and this was the first time. And even when our founding fathers, were putting together the Declaration of Independence, they looked towards the Mayflower Compact
Absolutely.
is sort of, okay, this is what we need to continue that same process of religious freedom, of the right of people to choose their destiny,
Right.
And it has made us and continues to make us the strongest country in the world.
Absolutely. And that all stemmed from the Magna Carta, which is 800 years old this year.
Yeah.
And so, the English based everything on what they knew. So when they were writing the Mayflower Compact, they were basing that on the Magna Carta. And then when they were writing the Declaration, they were basing that on the Mayflower Compact. So it is definitely that democracy, that democratic process carried through.
It's wonderful. There were some very specific themes for this anniversary. Can you talk about some of those and their significance?
Yes. Well, like I said, the theme of immigration is something that we all can relate to. There are people for whom the Pilgrim story doesn't mean anything, doesn't resonate with them. But when you look at it from the perspective of an immigration story, the beginning of an immigration story, there are more people with the names Botieri and Tavares and Santos in the town of Plymouth than there are Brewsters and Bradfords and Howlands. So I think that, bringing all of this together in a way that international people will be able to relate to it, in a way that people whose families immigrated here long after the Pilgrims will be able to relate to it, is not only going to just enhance the diversity, but it's going to enhance the economic impact that this has. And that is a very important part of this, is the economic impact that this can have for our region, for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and really for New England as a whole.
Yeah, and that story of the immigrants, I mean, I really feel it's such a connection to Plymouth. I've been here now for 15 years. On my mother's side, the Richardson side, is, she was a descendant of William White,
Right.
first passenger to die on the Mayflower, and Susanna White ended up with Resolve and Peregrine. Thank God I never had any kids, because I probably would have named them Resolved and Peregrine. And then on the Italian side, on the Botieri side and the Maini side, my grandfather and my grandmother, they came over from Bologna and Cento.
Right.
We did a thing back earlier this year, it might have even been end of last year, where they had the group from Renazzi.
From Renazzi and Cento,
and
Italy.
Cento area that came because at Cordage Park, which was the largest producer of rope in the world, and hemp is the strongest natural substance that was made back then. That's what they used for rope. Right. They also grew hemp over in Renazzi in that area, so they brought them over here to North Plymouth because they knew how to work it.
Right.
And so just the opportunities that were there for all of them, and it just really, again, like I said, it's just, I feel so blessed to be a part of this community.
Right.
And I can't think of a better place. And I've lived in some beautiful places around the country. Plymouth is definitely what I call home.
And what a great story that is. Now, that in any other town, just the story of Cordage Park would be a big historic deal. But because of the big historic deal that we already, live with, that doesn't get told. And we want that story to be told.
Yeah.
We want all of those stories to be told. We want everyone to feel a part of it. And the people from Cento are going to come back, and they are going to be a part of the 400th.
Oh, excellent.
And we are pulling
Excellent.
in our new Brazilian, not new, but the Brazilian community that is so vital here.
And very hard workers,
and
man,
very
let me tell
hard
you.
workers. And we want to honor them as well.
Yeah.
So everybody's involved. Diversity is what built this country. It's unfortunate that immigration has a, kind of negative spin right now. We want to make sure that people remember where, we all came here, roots. We all have those, roots from other places. So.
Okay. Ken, could you pop up the few slides that we have? And as we see those, I'll have Michelle talk on them again. 508-830-3971 if you'd like to call in and ask any questions about the Plymouth 2020. For all of our 6 viewers, please get on the phone and call us. Dave Gallerani, where are you? You must be at a Lions meeting or something. You and wrestling are usually always quick on the draw there. So, Michelle, we've got this one slide up here about what's the plan about the Plymouth 400.
Right. So we talked about those themes. These are the things that were the cornerstones of our nation. But these signature events and programs in 2020 are not just events. There are programs, there are exhibits, there'll be live and televised events. For example, the opening ceremony where we will be inviting the President of the United States, we'll be inviting heads of state, will be a closed ceremony for obvious reasons, but it will be televised, kind of like we envision it as a Kennedy Center Awards type of ceremony with live music and spoken word, etc. We also are collaborating on the educational programming side, which is very, very important, obviously, to this. And so there are 2 educational signature events, one for younger students, which will be webcast around the world. They'll be able to interact with the programming and with each other. And then the other one is for older students, late high school and college age. And they will be doing work throughout 2020 that will culminate in them coming here. 400 of them will be chosen to come here and see the original places, the authentic places, and they will be tasked with putting together a compact for the new generation.
Great, great. Ken, next slide, please. And there was the license plate.
That's right. So, so one of the things that's really great that's happening for Plymouth right now is the cultural scene here is fantastic, and it has been for a while, but it has definitely increased over the last 10 years. We are the newest cultural district. The Mass Cultural Council has a cultural district program. We are the newest cultural district, the Plymouth Bay Cultural District. We are also the largest with 120 cultural assets in a 3-mile walking distance, and that is the downtown and the waterfront, right around in a circle.
Wow.
That's huge. Some of the cultural districts actually have like 9 or 10 things in them.
Yeah.
We have 120. And so it was an easy thing really to do because it was all right here. We just had to do the paperwork, get it done, and we did that. As a result of that, we won a Commonwealth Award this year, which is a very prestigious award given by the Mass Cultural Council every 2 years, and we won that for most creative community. So that was a great milestone. And then just recently, we were voted one of the 10 most charming towns in Massachusetts.
Oh, that's because you were here. How was that, Ken?
That was good. That was a line. Good thing I know you. But the great thing about that is Provincetown was also voted in that same category, and they are our partners in this. I mean, the Mayflower Compact was written off the coast of Cape Cod, off the tip of Provincetown. So they are gearing up just as we are. We are partnering on really everything we do. 2 of my board members are from Provincetown. It is a beautiful community, and we want to have more linkage between us and them, and with the Cape in general. Cornhill is part of the story.
First Encounter
Beach is part of the story. So we want to make sure not everybody can come and stay here in Plymouth. If we're going to have several million more people than we're used to seeing here, they're going to be spreading all over the region, and we want to make sure that they do that. So we're planning our events with Provincetown and the Cape so that they do happen at different times, so that people can kind of be spread out and enjoying the whole anniversary.
That's fantastic. Are we getting any of the royalty coming over from England?
We hope to. Actually, they have the Mayflower 400 people have already spoken to Charles, Prince Charles. He now has to assign this to one of the royal family as their to be the ambassador for this.
Okay.
And then they will choose somebody or they will come over. You know, the Queen will be probably, well, she'll be 5 years older. So she's not going to be doing it, but and Charles probably won't either. So we're hoping,
Get
of
the
course.
sons here.
We're
Be
hoping
nice.
for the babies.
Yeah.
We want the babies,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, what's better than having, you know, Harry and Kate and you know, the new little ones?
Yeah.
That would be very exciting.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Again, 508-830-3971 if you'd like to call in and talk to Michelle and ask any questions about you know, what we do have coming up. Let's see. Also, there are, do we have a couple other slides there, Ken? Two more. Let's throw up one there, or put one up, however you want to look at it.
So talk about milestones. So we turned in the license plates, and just 2 days before that, we launched a brand new website. So we're really moving fast and furiously. But this website is so much more appealing. It's much more user-friendly. It will expand. We got the crux of it up there, but we really want to expand it with a lot more of the history and then of the area, and then refer people to other websites that have more in-depth history of the area. But this has all of our events on it. It has all of the ways you can become involved with Plymouth 400, and it has a media center where media can go and pick up, you know, information and get photos, you know, from the website. I really think it's pretty.
Yeah, I think it looks great. And is it what, PlymouthMA2020.com?
It's actually it's Plymouth 400 Inc. INC. We changed our. It used to be PlymouthMA400.org.
Okay.
We have recently changed our URL so that it's a little easier for people to remember. So now it's Plymouth 400 Inc. We also felt like, you know, it is Plymouth, Massachusetts, but the real point is this is a national and international event.
That makes sense.
And
that makes
you know,
sense.
so we didn't want to make it seem small because it's not small.
Okay. Yeah, and it's going to be, I mean, just having sat in on a few of these meetings, it's just going to be so exciting. There's going to be so much to do. And if you think it gets crazy around Plymouth just during the summer, multiply that by probably 100-fold.
Yeah, but what we don't want to do is, you know, again, like I mentioned, we don't want people to feel claustrophobic. We certainly don't want people who live in town, the residents, you know, to not enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
So we are, like I said, we do have 7 signature events and programs, but really only 3 of them are events where people will converge in a certain area of town. And actually one of those 3 is taking place on the Cape, at the Cape Cod National Seashore. That would be our that would be a sunrise commemoration, and that's kind of a commemoration of the freedom of religion piece. So faith leaders from around the world will come, and we think the Cape Cod National Seashore, we want to pull in the National Park Service. That's a really important piece, especially for the federal funding aspect of things.
Yeah.
So we want to pull in the National Park Service. Cape Cod National Seashore is an absolutely gorgeous setting, and the sun does rise. You can see it from down at the tip of the Cape. So. That will be part of it.
You know, talking about the, you know, getting federal funding and stuff, what other fundraising events are you doing, some of your sister groups doing to help this whole event?
So we have what we call pre-commemoration or lead-up events. The pre-commemoration events started a couple of years ago, some of them. So we have a bass and blue fishing tournament, which we're growing. We're actually working with Mike Landers at Project Arts. He does a Roots and Rock festival on the waterfront the same weekend that we do the bass and blue tournament.
Okay.
So we're going to collaborate with him. We're going to have some family activities having to do with natural history and marine life. And we will have some fun things going on, like we're gonna be doing some social media with the boats that are out, the fishermen that are out,
very cool.
and have them sending us pictures and sending us reporting back on what they're finding, what they're catching.
So they can tweet, they can Instagram, they can Snapchat.
Yeah, and
all
we'll have a
those
nice big screen where people can watch that all happen
in real time.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
and the weigh-ins over at Brewers Marine, so it's just a short walk over to the waterfront. And exciting, what we want to grow this into is a seafood festival. which we haven't done here in Plymouth. So that, we've got the great the new oyster beds here in Plymouth, and of course we've got oysters all over the Cape and Duxbury. So we want to have an oyster shucking contest, and we want to have, some celebrity chefs come and do a cook-off. That probably won't happen this year. We might do a little bit of that this year, but we want to grow that into a full-fledged seafood festival, music festival, fishing tournament, all taking place from Friday through Sunday.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Ken, how are we doing on time? We got about a minute and a half. All right, good.
Right.
Good.
Well, while we're doing that, can I just mention, too, that, the Jeff Cohen Foundation this year did a great event for us called Midnight Masquerade, which was very successful. And what we'd like to do with that is grow it into a cultural event, and there's where the Cultural District comes in again. So have it open to families during the day. They can watch ice sculptures being done. They can go to the Spire Center and see a performance. They can go to the Arts Center and see, a gallery show. So that's the kind of thing that we're doing leading up to.
That's wonderful.
We're busy.
Well, I'm very excited to have Michelle here, Michelle Pecoraro, Executive Director of the Plymouth 400 Club, 400. And again, if you want to get involved, how do they get involved?
If you want to get involved, you can call us at 508-812-2020, or you can go on our website at Plymouth400inc.org. I have to remember it myself.
Great. Thanks, everybody. If you do see Ken and Karen around town, don't forget to say hello to them. And next week, they'll be back again for another great Talk of the Town. And as we're also going out, I just want to talk a little bit about June 14th is the 7th annual Scleroderma Walk, which is the autoimmune disease that I am afflicted with, but we'll be doing a fundraiser on Nelson Beach. Hopefully, get a hold of me, and again, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next time on Talk of the Town. Thanks and good night.